morning and welcome to Korea Today, brought to you live from Seoul.
The two Koreas are to resume high-level talks this morning at 10 a.m. upon Pyongyang's request after the first round on Wednesday yielded no tangible results, an apparent attempt at breaking the deadlock in inter-Korean relations.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry calls on Korea and Japan to improve their bilateral ties. I have details coming up in the headlines.
And Korea's medal count goes up by 1 in Sochi, but not without a bittersweet feeling. That story coming up on In Print. It's an all-out battle between girl groups these days, and of them, Dal Shabet is the cream of the crop. From their sexy dance moves to a peek into their daily lives, Denny Hong has more. Proclaim your love today with sweet chocolate. Matthew Chung brings us some out-of-the-box chocolate desserts to make your heart melt on Valentine's Day today. That's Friday, February 14th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Thank you for joining us on Korea Today.
Good morning, everyone. Koreans are waking up to Valentine's Day today, but it's being dubbed something else this year. It's being dubbed Budomtine Day or Bodomtine Day because of the fact that it also falls on Jeongwol Daeborum, which is the first full moon of the Lunar New Year when the moon is supposed to be at its brightest. It's the first time in 19 years that the 2 days are coinciding with one another, and many couples are keeping the tradition of giving walnuts and peanuts instead of chocolates this year.
Or you can make it chocolate-covered walnuts and peanuts,
That's right.
But many Koreans are celebrating this day not just as a festive day, but also a day of remembrance. The day freedom fighter An Jung-gun was sentenced to death for his role in the assassination of Hirobumi Ito, Resident General of Korea during the Japanese occupation.
That's right. So it's a historical, meaningful day as well as a festive day. So do remember that as you celebrate today. All right, we'll now get a check on the day's headlines with Na Hyun-kyung.
Following a round of high-level inter-Korean talks on Wednesday that ended without any concrete results, the two Koreas will meet again on this Friday for a second try. North Korea is said to have proposed holding today's meeting. And for more, we now go live to Arirang's Hwang Sung-hee, who's standing by at South Korea's Unification Ministry. So, Sung-hee, what will be some of the key issues at hand for officials today? And is it even possible at this point for the two Koreas to find a common ground over the family reunions issue? Good morning, Hyung-kyung. The South Korean delegation will depart for the truce village of Panmunjom in just about half an hour. Like you said, today's talks come upon North Korea's proposal made yesterday. And again, the two Koreas have not fixed an agenda on what will be discussed today. Most likely, they will pick up where they left off on Wednesday and try to focus on reaching a middle ground on the family reunions, as well as the joint military drills between Seoul and Washington. At their last meeting, North Korea demanded that the South postpone the key resolve and full legal exercises to sometime after the family reunions take place. Now, the reunion events for families separated since the Korean War is scheduled to take place from February 20th to the 25th and overlaps with the military drills that begin at the end of the month. South Korea has refused to make changes to its plan, saying humanitarian issues like the family reunions should not be linked to the military drills. So the big question for today is whether the Koreas will find a middle ground. Now, Hyung-kyung, we must remember that North Korea has walked away from its agreement to resume the reunions last year, just days before the event. Today's meeting will begin at 10 a.m. and each delegation will be represented by the same chief delegates. Hyung-kyung? And U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived in Seoul yesterday and he met with South Korea's Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se. Now, given the situation, it's not surprising that the two talked extensively about North Korea. That's right, Hyung-kyung. Once again, North Korea topped the agenda for discussions between the two top diplomats from Seoul and Washington. The two held a joint press conference last night following their talks, where Secretary Kerry stressed that family reunions are a matter of human rights and that there is no legitimate excuse for linking family reunions with the upcoming joint military drills. So basically, this means that the U.S. shares the same stance as its ally, South Korea. He also reiterated Seoul and Washington's commitment to a common goal of the verifiable denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Secretary Kerry said the U.S. and South Korea will engage in talks with North Korea only if it takes meaningful steps in showing its sincerity and not just for talk's sake. Hyung-kyung?
All right, so we'll certainly keep our eyes on further developments. Thank you, Sung-hee, for your report. That was Arirang's Hwang Sung-hee reporting live for us from the South Korea's Unification Ministry. Now, another topic that came up in the talks between Minister Yoon and Secretary Kerry was Seoul-Tokyo relations. The bilateral relationship between Korea and Japan is not necessarily at its best these days. Secretary Kerry was reluctant to comment on the friction between Seoul and Tokyo stemming from Japan's ongoing nationalist agenda, but did call on the two countries to put history behind and move the relationship forward. In response, Minister Yoon made it clear that Tokyo's denial of its wartime aggression is harming bilateral ties, and he urged Japanese politicians to take heed of international criticism and take proper and sincere measures. Meanwhile, the recently appointed head of Japan's public broadcaster NHK, Katsuto Momi, has once again reaffirmed his stance on how NHK will run stories on the Korea-controlled Dokdo Island. Japan's Kyodo News Agency says Momi told reporters Thursday that the broadcaster needs to share the stance of the Japanese government when it comes to issues related to Dokdo and the Diaoyu or Senkaku Islands in the East China Sea, over which Japan has a territorial dispute with China. And shifting back to North Korea, the U.S. Korea Institute at Johns Hopkins University says North Korea appears to have accelerated excavation at its nuclear bomb testing site in the northeast of the country, although a test is not believed to be imminent. Referring to its new satellite images, the Institute's website 38 North says Pyongyang likely started work last May on a new tunnel at its Punggye-ri site, where it has conducted its 3 previous nuclear tests, including the most recent one in February last year. The Institute estimates the pile of earth excavated from the tunnel has doubled over the past month, but it's uncertain whether North Korea will use this tunnel for its next nuclear test, as the site already has 2 other completed tunnels. And the country's already snow-hit eastern Gangwon-do province was hit by yet another blast of wintry weather on Thursday. The snow has died down a lot this morning, but it was only after some parts received more than 40 centimeters of snow over the past 2 days. Estimates put the financial damage caused by the snow so far at more than 4.2 billion won, or roughly $3.9 million US dollars.
The amount of tools and people we have now is not enough to proceed with the clear-up process. I'm pleading with the government to designate this area a special disaster zone and provide us with additional equipment and more feet on the ground.
As of 7 p.m. last night, most special heavy snow warnings in the eastern region were lifted, with clear skies in the forecast from Friday through the weekend as well. However, weather officials say the area will see more snow starting Monday next week.
And happy Friday, everyone. Time for a look through your newspaper headlines. Korea gains its 2nd medal at the Sochi Winter Games, albeit with mixed feelings. It's featured on all of our front pages on the newspapers this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at the story on Gyeongyang Shinmun, which has a headline with a regrettable tone: pushed and fell.
Park Seung-hee settles for bronze. Now, on the left is number 138, Korea short tracker Park Seung-hee in the lead moments before she would be pushed off balance in the jostle involving the skaters from Britain and Argentina. On the right, you'll see China's skater Lee Jiang-ru gliding through to take the gold in the end. And Park did get up and finish the race to receive the bronze after Britain's Elise Christie was penalized out of her third place finish. But the paper reflects the asyum, or loosely translated, a type of sadness from what could have been. Scooting over to 중앙일보 next, it also features Park, who cheers her on for her fighting spirit that got her up after falling not once but twice to finish the race, which handed Korea its first medal in 16 years in Olympic women's 500-meter short track. And of course, our sports guys SJ Lee will have much more coming up just around the corner. So let's take a look at a few more headlines before we do. Now, the one on the left recalls statements made by U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry yesterday in Seoul, side by side with Korean Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se in the joint news conference. And it reads, North Korea-U.S. bilateral talks, no such thing. Underlining there that Kerry reiterated that the U.S. will not accept a nuclear-armed North Korea, nor will it accept talks for talk's sake. And the sub-headlines also note that he promised the annual Korea-U.S. military drills will press on under any circumstances. Secretary Kerry also met with President Park Geun-hye, who welcomed the news of U.S. President Barack Obama's upcoming Korea visit. And next up is 조선일보, staying with North Korea. Its headline reads, Unification expediting law in the works to help build infrastructure in North Korea. And the move is being spearheaded by 35 ruling Saenuri Party lawmakers, the paper reports, who met yesterday to work on the plan that would construct physical infrastructure as well as groundwork for a financial system in North Korea, as well as support in agriculture and industry. Now, the so-called Lawmakers for Unification meeting was first launched in October of last year, and the paper says it could serve as a launching point for substantive discussions on reunification policy at the National Assembly. And finally, let's wrap with a look at Mail Business newspaper. Its headline reads, Government to loosen M&A regulations to boost venture companies. And among those plans is to push conglomerates to invest their cash reserves into business ventures and into stimulating the creative economy as a whole. Now, that loosening refers to scaling back the mandatory ownership quota for conglomerates from 100% stake to 20% when acquiring listed companies. And the idea here is that it would channel funds into a larger pool of venture companies. The change was discussed at a vice ministerial meeting yesterday among members from the Finance Ministry, the Future Planning Ministry, as well as the Trade Ministry. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's market action.
After 6 days of the Winter Olympic Games, Korea was able to add their second medal thanks to Park Seung-hee. But many Korean fans, as well as myself, we believe that that should have been a second gold and not a bronze. SJ Lee joins us with more on this. Good morning.
Good morning, SJ.
Good morning, guys. Now, obviously, a bronze medal is not that bad, right? That's an understatement. But of course, the women's and the men's short track team actually have been going through a little bit of a run of bad break right now. And this is, of course, including Park Seung-hee, who, of course, we've been talking about her bronze medal finish. Now, going into the race itself, despite having the lead in the beginning of the final, two skaters behind her falls and takes her down as well as she struggled to recover from the fall. But the judges ruled that Elise Christie of Great Britain tripped her and Park was given an advance and earned the bronze medal. Now, while it's far from a gold medal, Park Seung-hee claims Korea's first medal in the 500-meter short track event in 16 years. But another bad break here. She's pulled out of the 1,500-meter event after sustaining an injury in her bronze medal finish.
But her bronze medal is as valuable as a gold, I must say.
That's right.
And Kim Yeona, let's talk about her. She held an open practice yesterday.
You know, this is kind of interesting how things go with figure skating is because there's a lot of athletes out there, figure skaters, who are kind of very secret in revealing their little techniques and their practices and so forth. And Kim Yeona kind of showed that she's very confident going on to the, of course, the event next week. And just like I said, while her rivals in the sport like Mao Asada and Yulia Lipnitskaya are practicing in nearby countries, not in Russia, to keep their practices as closed as possible, the figure queen Kim Yeona held her open practice session at the Olympic Park. And actually, after holding her practice session, she did state that she did not like the ice and will have to get used to the ice conditions. Meanwhile, the Vancouver gold medalist will be, like I said, looking to defend her title next week. And now, of course, shifting over to the women's 1,000-meter speed skating event, where after claiming her second straight Olympic gold in the 500-meter event, Lee Sang-hwa enjoyed the 1,000-meter event and finished her Olympic competitions. Of course, with no pressure on her to win another medal in this event, Lee Sang-hwa stated that she enjoyed competing in the 1,000-meter event as she finished with a final time of 1 minute 15.94 seconds, good for 12th place overall. Now, the 12th place finish is still a huge improvement from her Vancouver record when she finished in 23rd overall.
There's no doubt that Lee Sang-hwa is by far the most loved, I guess, winter sports athlete in the Sochi Games for Koreans. Yes, as of now. But I mean, a lot of people are still talking about women's curling team as well.
Yeah, you know, and before the actual Olympics did take place, I said everyone was going to be interested in the sport. And what's quite interesting is that a lot of people are following up on this sport, which a lot of people didn't really know about until recently, and especially with the recent success. And speaking of which, in a must-win situation yesterday after losing to Switzerland and Sweden, the Korean women's curling team kept their composure throughout their match against Russia as they easily beat the 8th-ranked Russian side. And with their record now at 2-2, now they'll need to win their next 4 matches in order to keep their hopes alive as they're now set to face off against the 5th-ranked China later today.
All right, well.
And of course, finishing things off, let's take a look at the medal count after 6 days of competition in Sochi. And some changes, of course, here. Taking a look at the chart there, Germany with the most gold medals so far with 7, including 2 silvers and 1 bronze. Canada, Norway, the Netherlands, and the United States all with 4 gold medals each to complete the top 5, with Korea down in 13th place with 1 gold, 1 bronze so far.
So Korea's
should have
been
2
bumped
gold.
up.
Should have been.
Stop obsessing over gold. Yeah, bronze is good enough. Thank you, SJ, for this story.
Always a pleasure. And of course, before I do say goodbye, let's take a look at the other competitions you might enjoy in Day 7 of the Sochi Winter Games.
As we mentioned at the top of the hour, today is 정월 대보름. The big question on this day is how cloudy is it going to be, because it's important to see the moon and make a wish.
Exactly. It's supposed to be the brightest moon of the year. And for more on today's weather and what tonight is going to be like, we'll go to Lee Tami. Good morning, Tami.
Good morning.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm reporting live from 서초구, Seoul. Now, yes, today is 정월 대보름 here in Korea, which means it's the first full moon of the Lunar New Year. It looks like most of the regions here in the peninsula will be able to catch a glimpse of the full moon. We will have partly cloudy skies, but nothing that'll cover the full moon totally. Now, as for the eastern regions, due to the heavy snowfall, there will be hazy skies, so it will be a bit difficult to catch the full moon tonight in those areas. Now here in Seoul, it looks like the full moon will rise later at 5:40 p.m. So do keep that in mind. Now, as for the heavy snow advisories that have been issued in the Gangwon-do province and Gyeongsang-Pukto province, well, they have been lifted as of now, and it looks like as the day progresses, the snow will cease, and over the weekend, those areas will be seeing clear conditions, but the snow is bound to return again early next week. As for the temperatures right now here in Seoul, it's minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. Later in the day, our afternoons will be on the mild side as our highs will reach up to 6 degrees. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures around the nation for today. Seoul and Daegu's highs are at 6, Daejeon and Busan at 7, Gangneung the coolest at 2, Gwangju and Jeju at 9 degrees. We'll be seeing average seasonal temperatures throughout the weekend as well, and next week some rain or snow is forecast here in the nation's capital. That's all I have for the weather forecast. I'll be back in the latter half.
It used to be that aspiring diplomats had to study for years for the notoriously difficult Foreign Service exam. Now, that system was abolished last year. Now, the state-run Korea National Diplomatic Academy has taken on a new role to foster future diplomats representing this country. We have Mr. Chung Kwang-yong, the Director of Education Management at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy, joining us this morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Now, let's start with why the Foreign Service Office selection process has been revised and how your program came to be.
Nowadays, in 21st century, the diplomatic environment has totally changed. We are surrounded by quite complicated bilateral and multilateral issues that cannot be just easily solved by just one or two dimensional function. And the second one I would like to point out is the development of communication.
Mm-hmm.
The communication revolution developed. So now the diplomats need to read and move the minds of the public, of our own people, as well as the other countries we address. So we need some kind of other skills to do a diplomacy.
You have 43 candidates at your academy now. What kind of qualifications do they have and what kind of training are they going through?
We have introduced this new system, new recruitment system. So there are three different features in comparison with the previous one. The first one is the introduction of a competition. So among the 43 candidates this year, if all the candidates after the one-year program apply for the recruitment, unfortunately, 4 out of the 43 cannot be recruited. And the second new feature is the diverse the recruitment for the foreign ministry. So in the past time, there was only one category, that is the journalist section category. But we introduced 3 categories this time. One is journalist section, so that is a little bit similar to the previous one. The second one is the experts category for the regions, so such as the Africa or the South America. And the third category is experts category for some important issues of international relations, such as non-proliferation or security, international law, or ODAs. So we would like to input those who have various diverse backgrounds in the field of areas, in the field of the functions. Third difference is the extension of the period of education and the training. In the past time, the period for the training is only 2 or 3 and 4 months before. But now we extended it to 1 year, 1 full year. So throughout the 1-year program, we would like to make and produce the diplomats with full competence and just and balanced with the knowledges as well as the capacity.
It's tough being a diplomat, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
right. It's very
have
tough.
To have
I'm
a
very happy
well-rounded-
to be here 70 years ago.
Right, so this is a tough job. Compared to where Korea stands on the global stage, do you feel that this is enough? And what does this organization have to do to improve this situation?
Yes, that is a quite good question. So we have around 160 embassies and posts around the world, but many of about maybe half of the embassies are staffed only 3 or 4 diplomats. So maybe we need to expand the personnel, maybe double or triple.
Right.
But I know in reality it's not easy to increase the numbers of the foreign ministry only because we have some constraints in the national budget.
Right.
So at the moment, if it's not resolved at any time, maybe we need to give focus on to the strengthening of the capacity of individuals of foreign diplomats.
Now, being a diplomat, much like being a TV host, it comes with, it looks glamorous,
Right.
but in reality, it comes
Nah.
with its own bag of difficulties, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Right.
some of those, and tell us about some of the key qualifications that one needs to be a good diplomat.
Yeah. Actually, the images were just what I had, what I thought before I just joined the ministry. But I found that the images of, you said, luxurious,
Glamorous, right.
glamorous and high societies, the activities are not valid any longer. As you know, whether the diplomats are working here in the headquarters or in the embassies, the workload is extremely huge because of lack of the human resources. I can say that for the best good diplomats, probably we need some kind of a strategic thinking and understanding of foreign cultures and language proficiency. Those are like conventional qualifications, I think. But nowadays, I think we need some kind of sense of mission. I mean, the thinking of national interest and tolerance and healthy mind.
Okay,
and I also add some kind of communication, active communication with the public, as I explained there.
You know, I had always wanted to become a diplomat myself, but after this conversation, I know I'm not cut out to be one.
You can apply for this year. then.
Maybe. Thank you so much for dropping
you.
by and
Yeah.
sharing this with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Still ahead on Korea Today with female artists dominating the music world, one female group has transformed into a sexy new concept. Dal Shabet is ahead of the pack and have swept the scenes with their album, and Denny Hong sits down with them to catch up with the latest and share some of the candid moments.
All right, time for InStyle. If you go shopping these days, one thing you'll notice is that spring clothes have already come out, and the operative word seems to be pastel, baby pink, baby blue, emerald. So I'm onto something I don't think Hyungyang is. You're
Not
too
yet, not
vivid.
yet.
Hey, well, jumping the gun or not, you do know what's in trend, and these colors are forecast to lead the trends for the spring and summer, not just in the clothes, but also in hair and makeup as well. So we'll take a look in this next report.
As if beckoning the arrival of spring, soft pastel colors in clothes and accessories are considered one of the hottest trends this coming spring and summer.
In fall and winter last year, the mannish look was popular, but contrary to that, this year, spring and summer will have more glamorous and feminine looks. That's why the soft pastel colors are receiving a lot of attention.
We take a look at the sweet pastels that will transform the colors of your spring. This spring, the first tone in style will be powder pink. From the soft baby pink to the strong hot pink. Pink itself comes in many spectrums, but powder pink encapsulates the soft, warm and classy look. With the warm image of spring, powder pink brings out the lovely and adorable girl look.
People are looking for a lot of pastel tone clothes in pink or white colors.
Go for different colors on the top and bottom, known as tone-in-tone coordination. One of the favorites of spring is the pink skirt, so wearing that with a classy white blouse can create a calm and lovely look. Also, you can't leave out the jacket. Depending on what you wear inside, you can create anything from a bright, bubbly look to a chic, classy businesswoman look. That's why it's expected to receive a lot of love for its versatility. Along with powder pink, another soft, fluffy color up there this season is mint.
Especially mint colors can bring out the fresh and bright atmosphere of spring, while giving off a cool and light look, so mint will receive a lot of attention.
The color stands out more, making it seem difficult to wear, but with the right styling, anyone can take it on. If fashion is all about soft and sweet pastels this spring, how about makeup trends? If last fall and winter the strong eye-catching burgundy led the trends, this spring it's all about going unnoticed.
Unlike last season, pastel tones including purple and blue will be popular this season.
Light colors and shades that make it look more natural, all the while making your skin look clear, will lead the trends. Those colors mainly being soft peach and pastel purple, which bring out a fresh but added layer of color.
Go with a new tone for your base makeup and then add a shadow color with something slightly lighter for a cleaner look. If you use too much product thinking you want to cover things up, it'll make your face look heavier and thick. It's better to just apply enough to slightly cover up any acne marks you may have.
Even when it comes to the essential eye makeup, rather than digging into a strong look with deep shadows, a pure smoky look is a more attractive option. Using brown colors that are most similar to your skin tone, spread it out along the eye hole and underline as if smeared to create a natural and smooth image. When it comes to your lips as well, rather than strong colors, the soft peach tone known as nude lips is the way to go. Add some clear lip gloss for a moist look and you're ready to go. The pastels are not only in your clothes and makeup. From bags to shoes, the soft and sweet expands across the board. Shoes are said to define a woman's look. This season is not an exception and they also follow the pastel trend.
Colorful pumps and ankle strap heels are popular for this spring.
Ankle strap heels and pumps go with pants or skirts easily either way. While pumps give you a leaner, slimmer and more mature look, strap heels bring out the girl in you. Coordinating your top and shoes so they carry the same tone is the best way to style your look. Pastels add an extra whiff of sweetness to the spring season, so how about embracing the soft tones and opening a warm and bright spring?
And still ahead, indulge in some rich and sweet treats today for Valentine's Day. We look at some unique chocolate desserts that you can enjoy with Chef Matthew Chung. We test your sweet tooth with chocolate in all kinds of dishes and bring a special something into the studio. special something.
A special something. We'll be looking forward to that. But for now, another special something. This girl group is responsible for sending a care package of 3,000 chocolate pudding snacks to the 13th Special Forces Brigade for Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Thus
didn't know
earning the
that.
title Valentine's Girl Group. Denny Hong joins us with more on Dal Shabet. Good morning.
Good morning. I didn't get any pudding. I did get to meet with Dal Shabet, of course, earlier on this week, and their name is actually short for Sweet Sorbet, and so just like their name suggests, they do have their sweet side to them, but they've been showing off more of a mature and sexier image in their most recent albums, not only this most recent song, but also even last year. So we're going to take a look at their charm and, of course, their sexiness.
Since debuting 3 years ago with the song Super Duper Diva, Dal Shabet captivated the hearts of many men with their cute, bubbly image. The following 6 albums they put out all showed off their fresh and lively charm. However, they took on a new look with their more recent song, Be Ambitious. With their new mini album BBB, the girl group has made a 180-degree change from their bubbly image to one with a more mature and sexy style.
네, 코리아 투데이 시청자 여러분, 하나, 둘, 셋. 안녕하세요. 우리는 달 샤벳입니다.
With their new album, Dal Shabet shook up not only their music, but also performances.
이번 컨셉만큼은 섹시한 카리스마 있는 음악으로 돌아왔습니다. 타이틀곡 비비비는요, 시간이 지날수록 변하는 남자의 모습이 철부지 같다라고 빅베이베라고 표현한 곡이고요. 신나는 레트로 신스팝의 장르니까 많이 들어주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Now, the Heartbroken dance has become a big sensation recently. Can you show us a little bit of the revised version of it?
네, 저희 포인트 안무 첫 번째는 일단 말씀하신 가슴앓이 춤, 가사에 정말 충실한 그런 안무인데요. 나의 마음을 아프게 하는 너 이래가지고 가슴앓이 춤이라고 해봤고요. 그리고 두 번째는 너 춤, 그 세상의 모든 남자들을 향해서 손가락질하는 그런 너 춤이 있고요. 그리고 마지막으로는 어떤 춤이 있었죠?
힙합 춤이 있습니다.
네, 맞습니다. 그 세 가지를 연속 동작으로 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
나의 마음을 아프게 하는 너 빅 베이베 베이베. 와우.
이것만 하면 진짜 쉬운 거 있어요.
아니, 그러니까 쉬운 거보다
해주세요. 와우.
Their hidden sexy charm was already being well received by their fan base, but after being featured as the cover models for a leading men's magazine back in 2012, they clearly broke out of their previous mold.
So who do you think is the sexiest out of the entire group?
아무래도 달샤벳의 리더인 농염한 섹시를 맡고 있는 세리 언니가 아닐까. 와우.
네, 저희 사실 동생들이 항상 이 질문이 나올 때 저를 지목을 해줬는데요. 일단 너무 고맙고 저희 달샤벳이 정말 귀여운 매력도 있지만 6명 모두 다 섹시한 그런 매력적인 그룹이니까 여러분들 저희 많이 사랑해 주시기 바라겠습니다. 다 섹시해요.
In this album, it's not only the group transforming, but also taking a step forward in their world of music. The youngest member, Subin, took on writing the song and lyrics for her solo track, Just Pass By.
그냥 지나가라는 곡인데요. 모던 락 장르의 쓸쓸한 노래예요. 달샤벳의 노래에서 찾아볼 수 없는 새로운 곡인데요. 제가 이번에 처음으로 작사 작곡을 하고 솔로로 부르게 됐습니다. 너무 영광이고요. 그리고 또 B2B의 이룬 씨가 피처링을 해줬어요. 그래서 조금 더 완성도 있는 노래가 된 것 같아서 기분이 좋습니다. 많이 많이 들어주세요.
깔창 잡고 있는 거 하면 어떡해요? 안 돼요.
Dal Shabet has also recently started a segment on YouTube called Shabet on Air, which shows how popular the girl group has become. In each episode, they share with their fans behind-the-scenes stories and moments from their daily lives. Now, you have made several transitions throughout your career so far. What can your fans look forward to for your next album, your next concept?
귀엽고 또 상큼하고 또 시크하고 섹시하고 슬프고 이런 장르를 다 잘해요. 저희가 다 소화를 할 수 있는 멤버들이기 때문에 다음에 어떤 컨셉이 될지 모르겠지만 여러 장르를 포기하지 않고 도전하도록 하겠습니다.
Recently, Dal Shabet held its first mini concert in Japan. It may not have been large in scale, but they say it was a great opportunity to meet and get to know their fans overseas.
일본 단독 콘서트는 처음이었는데요. 더 뜻깊은 건 저희가 3주년이었어요, 그 날이. 네, 그래서 3주년에 일본 팬분들과 이렇게 처음으로 콘서트를 하게 돼서 너무너무 기뻤고요. 팬 여러분들 이렇게 팬말인가요? 네, 팬말을 달샤벳 3주년 축하한다고 사랑한다고 다 이렇게 들고 계셔 주신 거예요. 그래서 저희 멤버들이 무대에서 다 울컥했던 그런 에피소드가 있습니다.
And your future plans for either Korea or overseas, can you tell us about those?
저희 달샤벳이 지금 BBB로 열심히 무대 활동하고 있고요. 국내뿐만 아니라 해외 진출도 저희 열심히 생각하고 있으니까 여러분들 저희가 언제 갈지 모릅니다. 기대하시면 될 것 같습니다. 네, 코리아 투데이 시청자 여러분들, 요즘 또 날씨가 다시 추워진 것 같은데요. 여러분들 감기 조심하시길 바라겠고요. 저희 달샤벳 BBB 활동 열심히 할 테니까 항상 이뻐해 주시고 응원 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 저희는 지금까지 달샤벳이었습니다.
So their new song came out about a month ago and they're still going strong and I can see why they are adorable.
And I can see why you blushed so much.
You're at a loss of words right now.
No.
Still?
Okay, I gotta say.
Are you having a moment?
No, I'm not having a moment, but I feel like, okay, maybe they shouldn't have put the little pink. But during, of course, the time that we were talking to each other, obviously there's a lot of things that I could say about them. One, actually, I think they're the tallest girl group I've interviewed so far, actually. Each of the members seem to be at least 170 some odd plus centimeters tall, right? But when it comes to their music, of course, and especially with BBB, their newest single, they're working on a more sexier style without resorting to showing a lot of skin. Now, last year with their song Be Ambitious, it was more on that side, more the shorter outfit concept. But this year they're working on more of the hand styling and hand placement, which is supposed to kind of, I guess, take away from or actually add to
a
sexiness without
maybe.
the clothing. Yes.
And their main focus is mainly in Korea, but they're extremely popular in China as well, right?
They actually hit the 1 million view mark in China on the portal site called Youku, which is their biggest portal site there. And so because of the popularity of getting that 1 million mark within 1 week, actually, they're thinking about opening up and debuting them in China as well, too, trying to figure out some promotion for them. And so they're definitely going to have more overseas opportunities, I think, in this year. The song is doing quite well, and I think the dance moves are going to be very catchy for people to parody and to follow along with.
All right, Korea, Japan, and now on to China.
That's right.
All right, well, thanks for that interview. Lucky bum you. Had a lot of fun.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. All right, let's take a look at the K-pop weekly chart now.
Do you wanna build a snowman? Come on, let's go and well, now they know. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Turn away.
This hand motion is extremely popular among
a
kids,
lot
right?
of us need to get this song out of our heads, really.
That's right. And this one young lady, Tommy, she can also sing a tune on this song as well.
Right. But she joins us from a market this morning in Yangjae-dong to do some purom shopping for the occasion of 정월 대보름. Let's go to her right now.
All right, Tommy, over to you.
So I'm back reporting live from Nongyap Hanaro Club in Yangjae. Today is 정월 대보름 here in Korea, which is the first full moon of the Lunar New Year, and it just happened to fall on Valentine's Day as well. Now, on Deorum, there are many traditions and customs that are performed to ward off misfortune and to wish for a bountiful year of harvest. Now, on this day, there are certain foods that are shared, such as ogokbap, or 5-grain rice, 12 different types of namul, or seasoned vegetables, and puram, or various types of nuts. On Deorum, the first thing you do in the morning is a custom called puramkegi, which is the cracking of the shell of a peanut or walnut with your teeth to wish for good health and fortune for the year. There still are many Koreans to this day that follow the custom of puramkegi, so around the time of Deorum, you can find all sorts of nuts at the markets and marts. All right, so here, wow, look at all of these peanuts. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and put my teeth to the test. All right, here I go. All right, I cracked it in one try. It's a little bitter though. All right, let's just get this out of my mouth. Now, puramkegi was believed to prevent boils and bring good luck for the coming year. This is because there's lots of nutrition in nuts, such as unsaturated fatty acids, so this really keeps your skin healthy and soft. It just goes to show you the wisdom from Korean ancestors to keep people away from the skin diseases and when it was difficult to get balanced meals and nutrition. Now, on Deorum, there will be a full moon tonight. Here in Seoul, it's expected to rise at about 5:40 p.m. And you know what they say about making a wish on the full moon? Well, there might be a chance that it may come true, so go out tonight with your family, with your loved ones, and make a wish on the full moon. That's all I have for now. I'm Idami, Korea Today. Happy Deorum and happy Valentine's Day.
Well, today is the 14th of February, which is obviously Valentine's Day. It's Chocolate Day. It's the day for chocolate lovers, and it's a day to give out your chocolates to people around you.
In Korea, though, women give men chocolates on this particular day, and a month later, it's the other way around. And here's one for you,
Matthew. Here, one for you, Young.
Thank
my
you.
Valentine's
Wow, this is great, and this is what makes this holiday so fantastic. It's a day where you celebrate both love and chocolate. Two of my favorite things at the very least. And there are some people out there who are doing some very interesting things when it comes to chocolate. So why don't we take a look and see some unique takes on this sweet treat. So today's February 14th, and I think you know what that means. And if you don't, you might be in trouble from your significant other because today is Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day means a lot of things to a lot of people, but really to me it means one thing: chocolate. Today, we're starting here at Gomi Cafe here in Sinchon, and I've been invited to come to the kitchen and learn how they make their perfect little chocolates. This is as classic as chocolate gets, but I've heard that there's some pretty unique takes on chocolate in the city. Let's go. So our chocolate journey gets kicked off here in Taemno at Pizzeria O. And you might be asking yourself, Matthew, why are you taking me to a pizza place for the chocolate episode? And as you can clearly see, this is the reason why. And it's something that I would never thought of in my wildest dreams. Take a classic Neapolitan pizza dough and then put let's call it a famous European chocolate spread that's hazelnut flavored. It's a very nutty spread. Let's just leave it at that. It's topped with caramelized bananas, perfect pairing, berries. It's all very cohesive, and it might be shocking at first, but really, it all comes together really quite elegantly. I'm excited about it. I'm gonna go a little something there. It's really well balanced, despite how rich looking this is. Because the pizza dough, it's a classic Neapolitan, so it's got a chew to it. It's got texture. I really am having childhood flashbacks right now. And along with this chocolate pizza, they've paired it with a sweet sparkling wine. A lot of people think that red wine is the way to go with chocolate, but really, it's a little bit too much. The tannins, kind of clash with the bitterness of the chocolate. But if you take a sweeter sparkling wine, it might sound a little counterintuitive. Sweet on sweet, but if it has enough acidity to sort of bolster it, then you have that sort of roundness of flavor. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's refreshing. So now we're in Shinsadong. This is Garusugil, and this is Amy's Choco. And as you can clearly tell, I am definitely in a chocolate restaurant, right? Salad and chicken breast. Definitely not your average fare for a chocolate shop, but if you look closer, you'll find little bits of chocolate everywhere throughout the savory meal. This dish I have right here, it's the choco sam. There's cocoa powder in the bread, and there's chocolate in the sauce. The sauce itself is made from chocolate, as well as onions, garlic, and peppers, and other aromatics, so very intriguing. And along with chocolate sam, we have a chocolate ricotta salad. Now, there's not a ton of chocolate in this either, and they sprinkled a little bit of cocoa powder, or what even looks to be crushed cocoa nibs. There's only one way to be sure. Oh, it tastes like chocolate now. That's crazy. This is definitely a new experience for me. I've never really had a dish kind of evolve into that. Basically going from appetizer all the way to dessert in one mouthful, and it all makes sense. So we're at our last place tonight. It's called Bingsudo. Now, you can take a look. It's ice cream, it's chopped nuts, it's chocolate, and it's bread, which is great, but they don't stop there. Ooh. This is injeolmi. It's a type of duck that's made from tapsar, which is a glutinous rice. What they've done is that they put it in between two slices of bread and they baked it off so it gets super melty on the inside. Injeolmi and chocolate, they exist in such different worlds. Injeolmi, it's a very traditional Korean duck. It's not very sweet. Whereas chocolate, not Korean at all, and very sweet on the other end. So coming together, they make for an odd couple, but sure is delicious.
Wow, and we have that very
Right
dish right in front of us.
Dream come true.
Right, exactly. Be careful what you wish for. Right?
It looks like the
All right,
sugary
well, tell
snack
us-
there, but it looks so
cute.
good.
All right, we're going to dig in while
Please do, yes.
All right.
This was delicious, and it really took me by surprise. One of the best parts about this dish are all the different textures and the contrast. You have the cold ice cream, you have the hot, the warm injeolmi on the inside. You have you have the smoothness of the injeolmi, and then you have the crunch of the almonds.
I
See,
don't really
right?
care what you're saying right now.
Can I be greedy and just take
Yeah,
the whole
here.
dish?
That's quite good.
The whole
Slide it
plate to
over to
myself.
you.
Thank
You
you.
know,
And
I've
you can
always
talk now.
wondered, how did this Valentine's Day come about to begin with? I love the fact that we give chocolates to each other, but how did it come about? Tell us about the history, maybe.
You know, a lot has had to happen to get Valentine's Day to where it's at today. And it's really kind of like all these different cultures from around the world coming together. First off, it starts off in the Roman period where St. Valentine's, he was considered a martyr because he wed a couple, a young man who's drafted, and this woman, and it was illegal at the time because he was drafted in the military, so he couldn't get married. But St. Valentine's went ahead and did it anyway. And he was martyred for it. And then cut to later in the 18th century in England. That's when Valentine's Day became a romantic holiday. And then you had all these different other things. Chocolate, which is such an integral part of it, comes from was it the Americas? During the age of exploration, and then finally it's made its way all the way over here. And we here in Korea have turned it into something of our own as well. So it's really just it's kind of a cool way to kind of look at history by framing it within this context of Valentine's Day.
Sorry, Matthew, I'm listening, but I'm not listening.
We could
she was
tell,
just sitting
right?
there enjoying that snack
all thanks
there.
to Saint Valentine.
So tell us about the history of Valentine's Day again.
He was a martyr.
Good enough, good enough. You did pay attention. Well, thank you, Matthew, for bringing all this for us on Valentine's Day. You made it all the more special.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, and happy Valentine's Day.
All right, happy Valentine's Day. Now, today is also Chungwol Daeborim as well as Valentine's Day, but it also happens to be a special day for a viewer from Austin, Texas, who has been watching this program since day one of its inception. Nick Bell, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Nick. What does it feel like to wish someone else a happy birthday when it's your own happy birthday or your own birthday?
What can we say? Happy birthday to me too, right?
Happy birthday to you. And
thank you.
Hyungyung will be on assignment from the